Welcome to the Aspirant Network. This is a very simple and straightforward video to figure out whether or not the UPSC Civil Services Examination is meant for you, whether you should decide to take a year or two off and sit for it. And the reason for this is very simple. This is at minimum a 2 year long process. 1 year to prepare and 1 year to sit for the exam itself. The cycle is also 1 year long. Another statistic you should keep in mind is most of the people who clear this are in their fourth or fifth attempt. The average age is approximately 27 and a half. So for most people it takes a while to clear it, and this will decide the rest of our parameters. So because it takes this long, we should be very clear that when we're sitting for this, when we decide to start preparing, that we need not look back and question our life choices. So the first parameter is college. Now if you come from a good college, and by good I mean one with pedigree, which means if somebody hears that you're from that specific college, they have a certain sense of respect for you. And this happens for some colleges that are very well known. For example, if you're from IIT Delhi, or you're from SRCC, Sri Ram College of Commerce, or if you're from, let's say, AIMS, and if you're from places like these, then you have a very decent chance of not having to worry about your pedigree being questioned. This will help you for this. Now, if your college is bad, then you have to take a call. Now you have to wonder whether you're doing something like BA, or you're doing some other course such as BTech or an LLB or medicine, so MBBS. If you're doing something like this is sorted because this will be sorted. If you're doing something like this, keep in mind that unless this translates to a master's, this is not sorted for you. If your master's, so here's how it works. For example, if you, let's assume you're doing a BA in psychology, and later on, if you don't clear this exam, you would want to become a psychologist. You need to have at least a master's to be able to practice it in India. Similarly, if you're doing your BA in economics, there are certain exams such as the Indian Economic Service, also conducted by UPSC. There is another exam done by the RBI where vacancies are solely made for people with an economics background. All of them demand a master's degree. Bachelor's is not enough in your for any subject that is part of an arts degree. So if it's a bachelor's of arts you're doing from a bad college, this is not sorted for you. Very simply, if it's a master's, then this is sorted, and that is fine. You need not worry about it. At the end of the video, I'll tell you how you should take a call based on which of these are sorted for you and which of these are not. So keep a pen and paper handy, and every time we finish one, just write whether or not it's sorted for you or whether it is sorted for you. Now, the second thing is finances. Can your family afford to spend 2 to 5 years of your or afford to support you for the next 2 to 5 years? If at least 2 years of finances are sorted, then this is sorted. If it can't, this is not sorted. You need not lose hope. It just means that if your family can't afford to finance you for 2 years, you will have to get some other job and you'll have to prepare alongside that job. It just means that it's not ideal. Similarly, college not being sorted means it's not ideal. I am not saying that this is the only way to do it. We're talking about making this decision easy for you. If none of these are sorted, you'll have to basically give it a little bit more thought before you get into the preparation mode. Now, after finances comes your backup. For your backup, if your college was sorted, your backup is sorted, right? And by this, I solely mean having a good college plus having a degree such as BTech or a master's or MBBS or an LLB, basically, or frankly, even architecture courses where you have jobs very specifically made just for those degrees. If your college was not sorted, then what you need to ensure is what you need to find out is whether your family or your relations, and this includes your siblings, friends, everybody, whether they can get you an interview later on at any workplace. For the simple fact that if you've prepared for 2 years for this examination, your way of thinking will be much more mature and you'll be able to prove yourself while you're working. Your only problem is your CV will have a 2 year uh, gap. And that basically makes you less competitive and less likely for people to shortlist your CV. So you need an inside person giving you a referral so that you get that first opportunity to talk about yourself to so that then you can prove yourself. So just to ensure that your CV is not thrown out, there should be something like this available. If this is not there, then if your family has some sort of business where you need, again where you need not worry about finances, then again you have nothing to worry about. So all three of these go hand in hand, right? If one of them is sorted very neatly, the other two don't really matter. So between these three, you need at least one thing sorted. More the merrier, frankly. But at least one thing must be sorted here. Either of these three. Now, after this comes these two things. These two are exam related and preparation related. These are basically meant for what if you don't clear. But these two are for giving the attempt itself. First, let's talk about cognition. I use this word here, but what I actually mean, I'm not going to mince my words. I basically mean IQ. Look, if your IQ is extremely poor, your chance of clearing this exam is frankly very unlikely. You have to be at least average. That's it. You don't have to be a genius. If you are a genius, it will be easier for you. But at least average hona chahiye. What average means is when you were in school, just think back, or college, if you studied properly, were you able to get good marks? So marks by themselves won't tell you if you have a high IQ or a decent IQ. It will be whether or not you studied and then got marks. So when you work hard, are you being rewarded? Or despite working hard, you're just never seeing results. If despite studying 8, 10, 12 hours a day, you were never able to score the average marks, that basically means your IQ is a little on the lower end of the spectrum. You need not be disheartened, but that should affect how you take a decision about this exam. However, if your IQ was at least such that आपको पढ़ने के बाद marks आते थे, that you would get marks if you studied, that basically meant your IQ would be somewhere above 100, probably more than 110 if you're relatively smart. If you're anywhere between 100 and 120, you have as much chance as anybody else. If you're 130 and above, you're a goddamn genius. Then, frankly, I'd ask you why you're preparing for this exam because you have much better opportunities outside as well. But if you want to prepare, you have a much better chance of making it than other people, provided you are able to persevere. Here's the thing, right? In life, the best predictor of success is IQ. The second biggest predictor is something called conscientiousness, which basically boils down to two things: industriousness and orderliness. But all of this, what it basically means is how hardworking you are. If you can sit down and work hard, this is your second biggest predictor of success in anything in life. So you need at least one of these two. And if you are lower here, you have to be higher here. If you are higher here, but very low here, it doesn't matter. What that means is you definitely need this. And the best part is this is easily changeable. This you can work on. So perseverance is bare minimum. If you're low on IQ, relatively, then you got to persevere a lot more. That's it. So at the end, what this means is at least one of them and at least one of these. The more of them that are sorted, the easier it will be for you to prepare for this exam. These will help you clear it. These will help you ensure that even if you don't clear it, you will not be lost. That you will not have to worry about what happens next. Now, before I end, I would like to make it very clear that the reason this is important is even if you have both of these, even if you are a goddamn genius with an IQ of 130 and you can persevere for 14 hours a day studying, it does not guarantee anything. There are tons of brilliant people who unfortunately don't make it. At the end of the day, this is statistically a very difficult exam. Look, around 11 lakh people apply for it. Approximately half of them sit for it. 14,000 people clear the prelims, out of which around 3,000 people appear for the interview. So they clear the written component. And finally, around 1,000 people are selected. And if you're from the general category, you are fighting for 40% of the seats. So only 400 here. So even if you're absolutely brilliant, if your luck was bad, you won't make it. And your luck can be absolutely bad for 3, 4 consecutive years. It happens, I've seen it. So statistically, you must keep in mind that you may not make it, which is why this will give you the mental peace to prepare. These two are required because once you start preparing, you should not worry about this anymore. You should not worry about this anymore. You should only worry about studying, giving your tests, looking at your scores, and then improving and then clearing the exam one stage after another. That's it. So take a call based on this entire thing that we've been through. I wish you all the very best, no matter what you decide. And thank you for watching.